Holy vintage-esque toys, Batman! It's a deluxe set! I may have been born almost 40 years after it finished airing, but the 1966 Adam West Batman is still my second favorite take on the character. Sure, the show is cheese, but it was cheese in an awesome kind of way.
Support your police. That's our message.
Well said, Robin.
I realize not many folks my age share this opinion, but this show is so much fun, I've always wanted some at least decent toys from it. A lot of companies have made stuff from 66 Batman, but I wanted to focus on the Mezco 5 Points Deluxe Set, which is 2 years old now, and I've noticed some things. Mezco offered this set for pre-order in like 2019 or 2020 or something, but they sure took their sweet time delivering it because it didn't turn up until early February of 2022. You got 7 figures, a pile of accessories, the Batmobile, and a Batcave diorama / playset, all for $140 US.
Jesus Christ!
Well, gang, let's do a retrospective on this thing and see if A, it was worth the price back then, and B, if it's worth the current secondhand price now.
Attention, attention, family thinks high toy prices are joke.
Holy one-liner, Batman!
It's not a laughing matter, Robin.
The figures you got in this set were Batman and Robin, obviously, Alfred, and the 4 big villains, Joker, Riddler, Penguin, and Catwoman. The figures are pretty basic, but overall look fairly good, I'd say. They have 5 points of articulation and have a vintage-esque yet also modern vibe to them, which is both trippy and cool. They also come with stands, which automatically makes this set better. Why are display stands such a luxury these days? First, I'm going to address Batman and Robin. They look pretty good, yes, and the capes hang nice. Now, when we first ordered this set, I, like I'm sure many other collectors, was under the impression that the capes were hard plastic. They're not. They're silicone rubber, so they flex. But the feeling I get when I touch them I can only describe as... Yeah, I don't like these. This was a solution, I suppose, but it was not the solution. Honestly, soft goods would have been a far better choice than these, even if they didn't hang as well. That way you could still get the figures in the Batmobile, but when handling them, they wouldn't feel like the cape equivalent of stepping into a puddle with socks on. Also, rubber doesn't tend to have a good longevity track record. Just ask the elbows of Black Series IG-88. But I'm sure we've got a while before any issues have hit. Oh. It's only been 2 years and Robin's cape is already starting to crack. Not a good sign, Mezco. For now, Batman's cape is fine, but who knows for how long. It's not even like these things have been abused, they just live on a shelf. Also, in order to dust them off, you need to use tape, but, them's the hazards, I guess. I do, however, think the paint apps on these two look good, and they scale pretty well with each other, which is nice. Most of the figures in this set have alternate heads, too. Batman and Robin have an unmasked Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson head that can be swapped out. Which is neat and all, but like, when would you use these? Alfred also came with this set, and he's not too bad. I mean, it's Alfred, so there's not much to say. I like that they included him, but I think the hair is a bit too dark. Other than that, he's great. Alfred also has an alternate head wearing the most convincing disguise ever, a mask and a hat.
Wow!
Now he can drive the Batmobile in public without being recognized. This is a neat figure, and I think the set would have definitely felt incomplete without him, and his disguise. Now this set also included the 4 main villains of the series. We'll start with the Penguin since he's my favorite villain of the show. Obviously, being more basic figures, one can't expect too much in the way of an accurate likeness. You can at least tell who he is, though he looks very young here. I just wish he had the cigarette in his mouth. It just feels weird without it. It's like getting chicken McNuggets without sauce. It's just unnatural. His alternate head is also a masked version, which is cool. It doesn't have a monocle, which I think is excusable. I don't think he wore it every time he wore the mask. The Joker is honestly probably the best figure in this set in terms of likeness. He is also the only figure with no alternate head. The Riddler is okay. They chose to do him in the suit instead of his less fancy outfit, but I don't mind that too much. What is most unfortunate is both of his heads have the hat. The Riddler didn't always wear the hat in the show, and when he did, he took it off pretty frequently. So it would have been neat for him to have one head without it and a separate hat for him to hold. Also, look at the paint apps on his masked head. He's looking at both Batman and Robin at the same time. Lastly,
Catwoman.
she's a great looking figure, but of the 7, she's the most useless, all because of that terrible leg articulation. It almost reminds me of... She also has one masked and one unmasked head, which seems to be a little trend here that everyone was in on except the Joker. The accessories of this set are plentiful. Penguin gets his umbrella and a gas cloud. Joker gets what I assume is supposed to be the utility belt from that one episode where he cloned Batman's, but I can't for the life of me figure out how to get it on him. He also has a picture frame as well. Get it? Because he's been framed. Oh, help.
Alright, now you're just being silly.
Riddler has his staff and a bag o' money. And Catwoman has a gold cat statue and one of her pistols. Alfred gets bugger all. And Batman and Robin get 2 batarangs, a can of what is either bat gas or shark repellent bat spray, a bat shield, and 2 bat transmitters.
Confound it! The batteries are dead!
Cheesy.
They also come with 4 iconic punch effects, though instead of 2 of each, I would have preferred to have 1 of each plus a biff and a zap. But it is what it is, I guess. They also have these clear clips to display them sliding down the bat poles, which is actually a pretty cool idea. Well, gang, now it's time to discuss the most controversial part of this set, the Batcave. The walls, floor, and bat gadgets are all made from laminated cardboard, and you have to fold them into shape when you get it. The sections of the cave are held together with Velcro. Now, I think you all know what I'm gonna say about this. This thing is absolutely fine.
What did you say?
Yeah, I don't mind this that much, to be honest. No, wait, before you crucify me, let me explain. I don't think this is quite the deadly sin that some collectors made it out to be. It works with the 5 points figures because I think it gives it a more vintage aesthetic. Look at the old Palitoy, Kenner, and Mego playsets from long ago. Many of them were made from cardboard, and some were far worse quality material than this thing is. Plus, 1966 Batman is absolute cheese. It's awesome cheese, but it's still cheese. So this cardboard set adds to that corny feel, in my opinion. Some people said they had issues getting the equipment to stay together when folded, but I personally didn't have that problem. It may be cardboard, but at least they put some thought into it. The one side is made to accommodate the bat poles, which is cool. There is a turntable in the middle for the Batmobile. It's a bit dicky, but it does work. There's an opening flap so the car can enter and exit the Batcave. And the exterior deco is kinda neat too. The outer side of the flap is meant to look like the Batcave entrance, and the back of the set has Wayne Manor on it, which to a more imaginative person can also be a Gotham City suburb. Is it perfect? No. Could it have been better? Absolutely. But I really don't think it's as bad as some folks made it out to be. Honestly, I should hate this because look at the things I said about the Adventure series. Thus far, the biggest issue I've had with the cardboard set is warping. Again, never used, it's only ever sat on a shelf since I got it, but the floor and walls have warped and become slightly misshapen. But, you know, cardboard. Whoever could have seen this coming? If the cardboard set really bothers you, I've seen people replace it with the plastic McFarlane Batcave, but I haven't because McFarlane.
Gross.
And as if I haven't chucked enough rocks at the Hornet's Nest, I will also say I prefer this cardboard box over Hasbro's Vintage Collection Endor Bunker. Make of that information what you will. My favorite part of this set is definitely the Batmobile. This thing is pretty cool.
You know what this means, don't you?
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
First of all, it actually scales with the figures. Very well, in fact. See how easy that was, Todd? Secondly, it does things! If you push this down, the bat saw deploys. And then to reset it, you just push it back in. It also comes with this jet flame effect that snaps into the back turbine quite well. Plus, there's an added feature where when you roll the car along, the wheels spin the jet to give the illusion of the flame moving. Granted, it's a bit dicky, but still neat conceptually. Good lord, a toy that actually does things! Not just some goofy, badly made opening door that they call an action feature, but in reality is barely operable. No, I mean not one, but two actual action features that are actually fun! Who'd have thought? Behind my overly sarcastic tone is a genuine expression of enjoyment. The fact that they put those two features, plus the fact that Batman and Robin fit in it perfectly, is awesome. This is a toy. This, however, isn't. Also, the trunk opens. But for what? I do, however, have a few issues with the Batmobile. First off, the red stripes look a bit too dark. This probably would have been better if they had laid down white under the red first to bring up the saturation. Another issue I have is the doors don't open. It's kind of excusable since you can still get the dynamic duo in without them, but this should have been one of the go-to features for this thing. Also, I'm not a fan of the matte finish. This car was always glossy in the show, so I think this should be too. It's one of those things that shouldn't be a huge deal, but when it's not there, it just feels off. Like Penguin with no cigarette.
This could be the end.
So with all that in mind, if you're in search of perfection with this set, you are definitely in the wrong place. From the wavy cardboard Batcave to the countless paint defects on the figures. Seriously, I didn't notice as many of them until I got them in front of the camera, but there are a lot. Riddler is probably the worst with the way almost none of the question marks on his suit line up with the print areas. The two with the least paint defects in my set are Alfred and Catwoman. Notice how I didn't say none, though. Also, I still hate these capes. Even with its flaws, I still don't mind this set. If you like 60s Batman and just want a one-and-done decent set that covers a lot of the show's basics, this is a pretty good piece. However, I would also say this thing was mighty overpriced when it came out. $140 US for basic figures in a cardboard playset is really pushing it. Almost Bespin Stairs to Nowhere pushing it. This should have been $80 US at most. Maybe $100 if Joker had a masked head, Riddler had a non-hat head with separate hat, the dynamic duo had cloth capes, and the Batmobile had opening doors. But I don't hate it, and like I mentioned earlier, it gives me a kind of Mego vibe with that cardboard backdrop, which I think fits the theme nicely. So is it worth the secondhand price? To me, no. I'd try to find a deal or a used one somewhere other than eBay, but ultimately that decision is up to the buyer. So gang, what do you think about this set? Is it alright for what it is, or should Mezco have gone further? And if you did or didn't like this set, let me know why in the comments section below.
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!